Hi guys, my name's Jaylyn and today I'm going to be doing my February wrap-up and my March TBR. I read 6 books this month, which I usually read more, but I'm kind of on a reading block. I read pretty slow. So the first book that I read was Champion by Marie Lu. I got it at the library and I read it and I thought it was a really good book. I didn't really like the ending, but I still thought it was a really good book and I really love the series and I just think it's such a good dystopian book. The next book that I read is Cinder by Marissa Myers. I read this one right after I read Champion. I got both of them from the library, but I recently purchased this one from Book Outlet and I loved this book. It's definitely up there with one of my top series. I just really love this book. I think it was so creative and I love the characters. So I would definitely recommend reading this book if you have not. I think it is so good. The next book that I read is Scarlet. It's the second book in the Lunar Chronicles and I love this one just as much as I love Cinder. I thought it was so good and it was such a good second book because sometimes second books let you down. But I really love this book. The next book that I read is Cress by Marissa Myers. It is the third book in the Lunar Chronicles. And I love this book. I love the new character and I just thought it was such a good third book to this series. And I'm so excited for Winter to come out next year. It is definitely one of my most anticipated books. I am so excited for it. The next book that I read this month was The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. And I love this book. I thought it was so cute and just really life-changing. I really loved it and I just thought it was such a good read. Kind of short read. It wasn't that long. I read it in one night. But I thought it was just such a cute, amazing story. The last book that I read this month was Let the Sky Fall by Shannon Messenger. And I finished this one 3 days ago, I think. And I loved this book. And I cannot wait for the next one to come out on Tuesday. I'm so excited for that book to come out. And I love this book. I thought it was just so original and I love the characters. And I just thought it was such a cute, amazing story. So those are the books that I read this month. I didn't read as many as I usually do. I usually read like 6 to 9, but I read 6, so I was still really pleased with myself. They were all pretty big books too. I didn't read really small ones, but I really loved all the books that I read, and 4 to 5 stars out of 5. I just thought they were so good. So the books that I want to read in March, I have 9, I think, maybe a couple more, just some that I want to read that have been on my shelves and that I want to read. I'm not really good with TBR lists. I kind of like to be like, I like to pick up books when I want to pick them up, but I kind of like to have an outline of what books I want to read, not necessarily the order that I'm going to read them in. The first book that I want to read is Struck by Jennifer Bosworth. I have started this book. I'm only like a chapter and a half in, but I already love it, and so I'm just hoping that I get to love it even more. I'm so excited to read this book. The next book that I want to read this month is Cold Fury by T.M. Goldin. I think this book sounds so interesting and I really want to read it. I love how it sounds in the blurb on the front, or the back I guess, but it's in the front. And I just really want to read it. I think it just sounds so interesting and like such a good book that I would love. The next book that I want to read this month is Breathe by Sarah Crossan. And I just love the cover and I think it sounds so interesting with the whole air idea. And I just really think this would be such a fun read, and so I definitely want to read this book. The next book that I want to read is Ascendant by Diana Peter Fraud. I think that's how you say her last name. And this one's about unicorn hunters, and I just think that sounds really interesting, and I know that the second book is out to read, and so I really want to read this book. The next book that I want to read this month is Mystic City by Theo Lawrence. I have already read this book, but I read it such a long time ago that I want to reread it and read the second book that is out. I really loved this book the first time, and I hope I love it even more the second time. I just thought there was such a cool idea with Manhattan, and I am so excited to read the second book. The last book that I for sure want to read this month is Let the Storm Break. It is the second book in the Let the Sky Fall series, and it comes out in 2 days on March 4th, and I am just so excited, and I want to read it so bad. I just love the characters in the story, and I just want to read it. I need it. And a book series that has been on my mind that I really want to read is the Shadow Me series. I've been wanting to read it for so long, but I want to get the cover remake of the first one in hardback and not paperback, and then have hardback, and so that is why I don't own it yet. I'm just waiting for it to come out in hardback, but maybe I'll get it on my Kindle and get the other ones in hardback and then just wait. But I want to read that series so bad. So those are the books that I want to read in March. Leave comments down below of what books you read in February and what books you want to read in March. Thanks for watching, guys. Like and subscribe. I'll see you later. Bye, guys.